Okay, the next film I'm going to be discussing is um Saving Private Ryan. So this is towards the end of the film. This is the final stance. So we hear a boiling kettle sound effect, and the rest of the background is muted, and the camera is shaking. So what's going on now is it's showing the inside of the Major's head during the conflict. So what we see is Tom Hanks' character as the general. This is him at this point. He's rejecting the will to live. He can see that all of his men are down. You can see that it's just him on his own, and he's still going to go for this moment of bravery and this moment of resistance, of giving up. We can see the look in his eyes. He knows that most likely he is going to die. He is already wounded. He's already badly wounded, and he says, "You know what? I can either go out of this war as a hero, or I can just lay there and let myself die." So what he does is he makes the decision to grab the lonely pistol on the floor and fight till the very end.
Where the hell are you going? Captain, get back here!
Is also watching this happen. So the guy who already let him go once and twice, he's now let him shoot the general, who is the main character of the film, pretty much. And what I think it's reflecting on is war and its consequences. I feel like it's the humanity of the situation. And in war, there's no space to have a human side to things. I mean, in war, it's kill or be killed. The soldier was a pacifist, and he didn't want to kill anybody whenever he joined the war, but he realizes that sometimes killing some person for a greater cause is more important. So what's really, really sad is just the consequences of his actions, and eventually the one person that he let go is the one person that's ended up killing one of his best friends during the war. And what's really sad is whenever the general gets shot, it doesn't go to a close up of him. Most directors would automatically go to a close up of him, but what we see is one shoulder running across the bridge. He gets shot and he falls into the river, and then straight away the general gets shot. And there's no fan service, there's no big moment, there's nothing. And what I think is that is showing the general as just another man, as just another target. There's so many deaths that we've seen in the film, and they've all been treated the same. At the very start of the film, we see, they're landing in D-Day. They're landing in so many people around the soldier die. So what we've done is we've witnessed this one soldier and his whole journey throughout the film, only for him to get shot and be treated like another dead man in the dirt, which I think is really, really powerful. I think that having this restraint as a director, which Steven Spielberg does so well, is that he treats the main character of the film as any other man. And he just reflects on the horrors of war, that no matter how well you might know somebody, they could be gone in within a second right in front of your eyes. And the silence as well whenever he falls, it's really, really sad to see. And you can just see the German soldier quickly just glock his gun as if it's just another person to him, and not even a sense of anything in his eyes after he kills the general. He just goes back to shooting. And then this is whenever the tank rolls in. So the angle that we're at right now is at a floor level, looking at the tank's wheels, cascade over the war-stricken backdrop. And what that really does, it makes a sense of scale. It shows you just how large these vehicles were and how turning point they would be during any battle. It really brings you close to the action. And then eventually you do get the close up then of you do get the close up of the general after he's been shot, and you can see his face is open, his eyes are in a haze. He's reacting to the pain and everything, but there's no scream, there's no music, there's no anything. All you hear is just the backgrounds of noise. You can hear that tank slowly creeping in as bullets, you know, hit against the ground. You can see the tank going through the smoke, and what the general does is he sits there and he's happy that he's got this gun that he's looking at the start of the scene, and he's laid back and he is ready to fight to the very end. Which is just showing the amount of resilience towards anything. I mean, this is one of the biggest objects you'd come across in World War Two. You're seeing a massive battle tank coming towards you, and instead of running in fear, or instead of turning back like his troops did, he sits there alone with the gun and he unloads this pistol at it, which is doing absolutely nothing. See him just carelessly just shoot the gun at the tank. He doesn't care if he's gonna live. He doesn't care what's gonna happen next. He already knows that he's lost. But what he's doing is he is taking pride in knowing that he fought to the very end, and he is, despite what lays in front of him, he's still continuing to fight on. Which just shows. I mean, in any situation like this, you would be so hopeless. You would be so, I'm gonna die. This is it for me. I could try and retreat while I have time, but what he does instead is he sits there and he fires his gun. Which is just a rejection of backing down. I feel like this is what really reflects the American spirit at the time. That despite a point where everything might seem hopeless, what I think this character does more than another character would do, more than what I would do, is that he sees that it's hopeless and he still continues to fire, knowing that it's not going to make a difference, but knowing that he was the one that pulled the trigger while nobody else would. And he doesn't flinch. I mean, the tank is closing in, and you can see him just unload the gun, and his face as well. You can see to the right of him you have a blazing building on fire. He's in the middle of the flame of the frame, and he's sitting next to a motorcycle. This whole scene, I mean, it looks like a painting, really. The camera is coming in closer to him. Obviously, it's coming from the tank's point of view of just really closing in. Almost like death is closing on him. While it's moving forward. You can see the terror in his eyes. You see a close up of his face here, and he's just still firing his gun. He's blood all over his face, and he's staring down this tank. He's staring down the tank, thinking that what, maybe there's a chance, and if there's a chance, then I'm gonna try and take it. And then on the final shot of his gun, he fires it, and then he explodes the tank, and you can see his face. The reaction to it, he realizes, like, oh my god, I did not think I was going to survive. And then he looks up and he sees the plane flying over, and you can see the sense of hope and the sense of relief in the short seconds you can see his face. It just shows pure relief. And then you've got the triumphant American planes flying overhead. I mean, again, it's just symbolizing to me America's might during World War II. It's showing that despite anything, no matter how hopeless it is, what Americans do is they push on and they fight no matter what. Which, I don't know, it's the attitude that Americans have that I feel like with British soldiers and Irish people too, I guess, we're a lot more conserved. We don't, have this thing where I can do whatever I want. I can be whoever I want to be. I can be the next president. We're more reserved and realistic, whereas what this is doing is it's rewarding bravery, and it's rewarding not backing down to the challenge of war. And you've already been wounded and you're still continuing to fire on even when it's not making a difference at all. And then you can just see the American planes just flying overhead, and it's such a touching scene. It's really it's really inspiring. So that is the end of the scene analysis with Saving Private Ryan.